everybody? Christian Ballard checking in today at Ballard Sports Media. I hope everyone's doing great. Hit that thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Love and appreciate all you guys. Trying to get back to some videos, trying to get back to a little bit more than just college football content on the channel. You never know where you end up. So I figured I'd start trying to make all these draft videos for the 2026 NFL draft, talking up some football and what certain teams need, certain mock drafts, potential trades, stuff like that. If you have any suggestions, please let me know. But today we're going to look at what the Buccaneers, is my team here in Florida, what they need to address this year in 2026 in the draft and really just the offseason as a whole. Um, Overall, when you look at it, I would say the number one thing for me, if I'm a Buccaneer, if I'm Todd Bowles, even if I'm a fan going into the draft, pass rush has got to be a big issue to address going into it. A lot of different people and sources, experts out there like Daniel Jeremiah, Blake Brockmeyer, who's of CBS Sports, have them taking edge rusher Cassius Howell of Texas A&M. He's very fast, versatile, great off the edge. They need pass rush. That's a good possibility to have there at 15. The Bucks picking a little bit higher than they're used to, around 19 or 20. So obviously missing the playoffs this year and everything, that kind of plays a factor into that. So they're getting a top 15 pick. Could we see the Bucks trade back? We are used to seeing that every couple years or so in the first round. They never really go reach up for anybody. I feel like, though, the Buccaneers are in a position where they might have to if there's somebody out there. Cassius Howell is from Field Yates of ESPN, and he says the Buccaneers must add pass rush juice this offseason as they have gone 4 straight seasons without a player reaching the 8-sack mark. There's an argument that Howell is the most explosive edge rusher in the class. He and Bailey are my top 2 contenders. Howell won SEC Defensive Player of the Year honors in 2025 with 11.5 sacks. He lacks, prototypical arm length for an edge rusher, but more than makes up for it with his athletic burst and ability to bend around the offensive tackles. He'd help get this pass rush back on track. Love the analysis. I have watched Texas A&M's defense from this past year, and that's like one of the only guys they talk about. They got a lot of guys that are really great there. Currently on the roster, especially at left defensive edge, Elijah Roberts to start, Kalijah Cansey from Pitt, who was our first-round pick a couple years ago, maybe like 3 or 4 years ago. I think in like 2023. He's back up. And then there's not a third or fourth string guy. Right defensive end, you got Logan Hall out of Houston. You got Greg Gaines, and you got a guy by the name of Nash Hutchmacher, which I don't know who the hell that is. I'm just going to be honest. And so there's not really a big pass rush name that stands out when looking at the depth that is provided for the Buccaneers at edge. So that should be a key target this offseason to address. Maybe you get someone in free agency. Maybe you roll your dice in the draft. Maybe you do both. But I feel like the outside pass rush has to be a key factor in decision making when picking up players this year for 2026. Linebacker, sticking to the defensive side, I love Servacio Dennis. I love Levante David. I love Yaya Diaby. It starts with those guys. You have some injuries right now and some key guys that were out last year a little bit, Anthony Walker and Anthony Nelson. Chris Braswell is coming in as a second-round pick. coming into like his second season with the Bucks from Alabama, who I was pumped up that they got him. I don't think he's I don't think that he should have started from the beginning, nor did he. But I feel like coming into year two or year three for Chris Braswell, um, when you look at him, he's coming into his, his he just finished up year two. He was picked in 2024. I apologize. So he's coming into year three. He had a sack last year. He had 21 tackles. They need to find a way to use it. He's listed as a linebacker, um, but he's pass rush all day. He is just explosive. He's very fast to get off the edge to disrupt the quarterback. He's just so like it, it's incredible. He's really really good from Alabama, and that's a guy they got to utilize a little bit more. I think. Now, if he has a bad season, maybe next year in 2027, you're looking at doing the same thing, and you're over and over again. But I think for me with the Bucks, every year I give them patience to fix the pass rush, and they take the right steps. But then the season comes around, you've cut a guy or two, you put it on the field, and it's just so inconsistent throughout the season. So I really think it's a coaching issue. But that's beside this point. The point of this video. You know, you got guys back like Hassan Reddick. You got Logan Hall. You got Yaya Diaby at linebacker. You got these guys. You have the talent. What you don't have is making up for that talent. Let's say if something happens and a guy can't play because he's hurt or suspended or whatever, you don't have the depth. So pass rush has got to be a big thing if I'm looking at it this offseason for the Tampa Bay Bucks. I go back to offense here. They brought in Teddy Bridgewater before the season. They got Connor Bazelak as third string, and Baker's obviously the go-to guy. I feel like at some point they should address a uh, long-term backup quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater looked good at times in the preseason. Looked really, really good. And when he had to step in this year, he looked okay. Is he a long-term answer though? Let's say if something happens to Mayfield. That's the thing about me is even if a guy does like never gets hurt, right? Never gets hurt. Which I'm trying to think of an example, but I can't. But you say, well, he's never going to get hurt. It's just not going to happen. Look, at any given moment, someone could screw your life up with an injury or put you out for a month in football. It happens. So, um, quarterback, I'm not saying they have to draft it, but if they want to pick up maybe an extra veteran or something out there this offseason, that would be great. I think it's got to be more than a Teddy Bridgewater and Baker Mayfield situation. And I don't know too much about Connor Bazelak. The only thing I know about Connor Bazelak was he was at Missouri in like 2020. And then he transferred to a couple different schools because he couldn't cut it out. Now he's a third string for the Bucks. And God forbid we get down to him. I don't trust that. You have an open spot on your roster for a fourth string quarterback. Take advantage of it. Payne Durham at tight end, Kate Otten to start. I like that. I think you got to address the offensive line. I love Godwin and Evans. I love Tess Johnson, McMillan, Sterling Shepard's still over there with the Bucks. They got some wide receivers. If they want to hit on that in the draft, that's fine. I'm all for it. I'm all for running backs and wide receivers. Anything you can do to help out getting offensive playmakers. That should not be top priority, but it should be something to address maybe on day 2, day 3, especially on day 3 if you pick up like one of these, not like a JUCO wide receiver, but like an early third, like early day 3, fourth or fifth round guy. That would be fine. Grant Barton at center, guy from Duke a couple years back, looks fantastic. I think he's doing great. Mike Jordan, Dan Feeney, Luke Godecki, Charlie Heck to back him up at right tackle. Thing about it is when you look at left guard and center, both At third string is Ben Brendanson, who's on the injured reserve right now. He's out of Michigan. He was a 2020 draft pick for Baltimore. He's on IR right now. Um, Greg Allman put a month ago that his knee is what's injured. He's expected to be fully healthy in time to participate. However, what sticks out to me, and maybe I'm misreading this, but seeing a guy listed twice on third string for a position at center and left guard. Yes, it's cool you have a guy that's flexible, right? But he can't play two at one time. You just don't do that. You either play left guard or you play center. So one of those has to be addressed. Offensive line depth, offensive line talent has got to be picked up for the Bucks this offseason in the draft, I think. So going to defense, again, we kind of talked a little bit about that. Talked about Chris Braswell and everything. They got Tyke Smith from Georgia, Antoine Winfield from Minnesota, who's been around for a little while in the secondary. Benjamin Morrison out of Notre Dame. Jacob Parrish is a nickelback from was it Kansas State? So they got talented guys there. I just want to see it be amped up a little bit. Depth, you definitely need some guys for third string, uh, free safety, strong safety, corner. You got to have guys like that. Back it up at third right cornerback is Zion McCollum, who's really, really good, but he's hurt right now. I'm not sure what his status or situation is. But overall, I think you got to address secondary. You got first off, you need guys for your practice squad, and then you got to give guys a chance in the NFL. Take a chance on these corners and safeties in the secondary. Take a chance on some defensive tackles. Don't be afraid to get more pass rush, get O line, get all of that I've mentioned here in this video. Um, so they need to do that this off season, especially in April's draft. Uh, and ultimately, they just got to get it together. I mean, this is a team that had some key pieces when Tom Brady was here. This is also a team that I feel like they're not one player away. They're not even one play away from being Super Bowl contenders. They're not even miles away from it. That's the thing. They're kind of right in the middle. If they make the right moves in one off season, one, they could be dangerous. That's the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They make one right move or make the right moves, not just one, but if they make the right moves on O line, they get an extra receiver, they get the secondary fixed, they amp up their passer. If they do all of that at one time in one offseason, this is a team that can go to the sky. You know? I mean, am I crazy for thinking that? Damn. I want to see them succeed. I want to see my team win another Super Bowl. I want to see them get as far as they can. And I'm always proud of the team. They give it everything they got all season, off season, everything. All season long, they give it everything they got. I know they're adults and they're grown men making money off this stuff, so sometimes you got to put them under the bus. I don't think there's really much drama in Tampa Bay, though. We'll try to get some experts later on to see what they have to say because I'm not the biggest expert, but just opening my opinions here. The Bucks are a couple key plays and players away from being back in the playoffs. And once you get in the playoffs, you're in the hunt for a Super Bowl. You are. That's facts. That's how it is. So anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Want to hear from the Bucks fans especially. I love y'all. Jesus loves you. God bless. Appreciate you for always showing up, and we'll keep it going here at BSM. Love y'all. More draft content coming your way at Ballard Sports Media.